This is the High School Crossfire. Welcome back.
Wise animals do not pick up quarrels with crocodiles when their two legs are still in water. Resolve. This house believes that access to social media should be limited to persons of a legally responsible age. What do we get from team opposition, our dear judges? They come and give us an alternative of sensitization. One, they don't give us who is going to sensitize. Second, they tell us they're going to punish those people who are not undergoing their procedures, and they didn't tell us who is going to punish them. What do they ask our side? That who is implementing our law. This is our common understanding. We all know that the Parliament of Uganda is the one that is supposed to enact a law, and it's followed up by the police department of our country. This is common sense, our dear judges. Our dear judges, what do we get from today's debate? We look at a world where team opposition is using things that are already existing, and they have not told us how different is it going to be that this time it will be effective, because things like censoring information is already there. First of all, they didn't tell us which kind of information is going to be censored, and how will they get to know that this information is wrong or right? Someone can ask you to meet them somewhere. Is that information wrong? No. But the person will rape you from there. Meaning that information is correct, but the person has committed a crime. We should understand this. So, standing by their alternative, which is wrong, an alternative that already exists, and they have not given us how different the alternative is going to be. We believe that team opposition gives you a weak alternative. And what do we get from team proposition? Judges, rest. What do we get from team proposition? Section 89 of Uganda's constitution, as stated by my first speaker, it states that 12 years in Uganda is the legally responsible age. And what do we give you as the reasons why we are limiting this to persons of a legally responsible age? First, our dear judges, we tell you that people below the age of 12 commit crimes and they are also victimized. And the people above the age of 12 commit crimes and are victimized also. But the people below the age of 12 can't handle being victimized. That's why our first speaker came and spoke about mental health issues, because the people below this age are going to grow up when they are having mental issues allowed.
Account for the crimes committed by people below the legally responsible age, as you have stated.
Our dear judges, his point of information was answered by the statistics given to him by my first speaker. So if he didn't hear them, I don't know how that information is relevant to my speech right now. Our dear judges, let me continue. They told us, we asked them of non-compliancy. Our dear judges, if people don't comply for the sensitization, what will they do? If parents don't turn up, if the people below the age of 12 years don't turn up, we asked them, what will they do? And they didn't give us an answer for that. Because we know that people below the age of 12 are not being held, or they're not held responsibly or accountable for the crimes they have committed in our country, our dear judges. They told us what causes issues on social media is the information. And this information reaching the children, making these children victims of cyberbullying. An example they gave us, making children victims of cyberbullying, wrong propaganda, is making us have future citizens that are wrong. That's why we are getting violent citizens. So if we keep, as mentioned by my second speaker, we keep the parents informing these children and teaching these children how to use information when they have reached 12 years and they have started using the social media, how the children will conduct themselves, we shall see that our Uganda won't have crimes like cyberbullying, any other cyber crimes. We look at, our dear judges, we look at very many different forms. We have given them the how, who, and why are we implementing this law, and they have failed to justify the reason why they are going to sensitize, the reason why they are going to punish people, the reason how they are going to censor information. And all these things are already there in our country, and we believe that they have not given us any different way. Thank you, our dear judges. I rest my case.
The panel of judges, the two antagonistic bodies, ladies and gentlemen, the audience, I greet you all. My name is Chilao and I'm from Namilyango College, and I'm from Team Negators. Resolve, this house believes that access to social media should be limited to persons of a legally responsible age. Dear ladies and gentlemen, if I continue straight to the clash points, I would like to leave you with a quote: focus on how to be social, not how to do social. Dear ladies and gentlemen, the first clash point of this resolution was Team Affirmatives talked about enacting laws, but the question that we kept on posing on them that, yes, you're going to enact the laws, but how are you going to punish the people who break the laws that you're going to enact, dear ladies and gentlemen? Which clearly we talked about how we are going to punish people who are going to break our laws, whereby they are going to post content that is of propaganda, dear ladies and gentlemen, which was clearly said by my second speaker and first speaker, dear ladies and gentlemen. Continuing to the next clash point, yes, they talked of limiting, dear ladies and gentlemen, but the question goes to them, like, what of these children who have ghost accounts? How are you going to cater for them? And by the way, statistics show that, research shows that 59% of children below the age of 10 in Uganda, by the way, use social media, including WhatsApp, whereby they use ghost accounts, dear ladies and gentlemen. This was according to the Daily Monitor, 29th June 2020. Dear ladies and gentlemen, how will they cater for that, dear ladies and gentlemen? That's why we came in with censorship, which they tried to rebut by the way. And by the way, censorship has worked in countries like China, whereby it is effective by 80%. This is China, whereby it has the highest number of social media users of 1.02 billion, dear ladies and gentlemen. So by adopting censorship, we as team negators, we believe that it's
Point
going
of
to be more
information.
effective. Granted, please.
Our dear judges, do we believe that everything that works in China works in Uganda? That's a
Dear
question
ladies
to you,
and gentlemen,
Speaker. Thank
we
you.
have to give proof that it works, dear ladies and gentlemen. Did you give proof that your laws are going to work? The mere fact that they are already in place. By the way, betting companies use NINs, but there are people who use ghost accounts, dear ladies and gentlemen. So how shall you combat that, dear ladies and gentlemen, which you fail to account for? Next question, next clash point, dear ladies and gentlemen, was the body that they asked us which body is going to do
Point of
censorship.
information.
Not granted. Which body is
your
going to do
honorable.
censorship? Not accepted. Which body is going to do sensitization? Censorship, dear ladies and gentlemen. We clearly talked about the Uganda Communication Services, which is very effective and an inefficient body in Uganda, dear ladies
Point of
and gentlemen.
information.
The next clash point, dear ladies and gentlemen, was the failure of team and never was the failure of team negatives. to
Point of
acknowledge-
information.
Not granted, please. The next clash point was the failure of team negators, team affirmatives, to understand that children have access to social media with false accounts, and of which they didn't even give a statistic about that in Uganda, which we clearly stated, and we do believe that our censorship is going to tackle two birds, whereby we are going to help combat this information from reaching to those children who have ghost accounts, and even we are going to punish the people who are going to give propaganda to what our dear children, dear children. So we do believe that our policies are going to be more effective, more efficient, and this proves that team affirmatives have an arbitrary argument because they didn't have proof clearly. They have a burden of proof, so we need that proof to show that their policies are going to work, which they didn't clearly state, dear ladies and gentlemen. So going back to our case, dear ladies and gentlemen, we clearly told you that we talked about censorship, but of which another question I wanted to pose to team affirmatives. Remember that time of COVID era, dear ladies and gentlemen. If you limit these children to access the social media, how shall they interact with their teachers, dear ladies and gentlemen? If they are at home and teachers are at school, how shall they interact? Which they still fail to answer that, dear ladies and gentlemen. Going next to our policies, we talked about media literacy, dear ladies and gentlemen, whereby we are going to educate these children who are below the age of 18, who are below the age of 12, and even adults, and even those who are legally responsible through social media. Dear ladies and gentlemen, as I rest my case, I would like to leave you with a quote. The true sign of intelligence is not knowledge, but imagination. I rest my case. Thank you.
This is the High School Crossfire. We'll be back in a minute.